What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. We got some major stuff here coming for Americans on December 14th that is going to affect millions, tens of millions of Americans. We'll go over that here in this video. Also, we got several different things to cover here for you guys here. I'm your daily source of what's going on here in our country that you need to know about here. So if you're new to our channel, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. It just makes it so you won't miss out on our new videos. And then click the bell icon after subscribing. Also, thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. Let's jump right in. Here we go. Okay, first up, more than 70 lawmakers send a letter calling on Biden to grant the rail workers and the entire community 7 sick days. This comes after Congress voted it down. I don't know if you would blame it on the Republicans. The Democrats mostly voted for it, and they were short of a few Republican votes. I'm not sure if Biden can grant this himself, but the letter says more than 70 House and Senate members sent a letter to the president here a few days ago to urge him to do everything he can to guarantee rail workers have 7 days of paid sick leave. The lawmakers thank Biden for his role in negotiating an agreement between the freight rail carriers and unionized rail workers to avoid a strike that could have happened on Friday, which could have paralyzed supply chains and significantly harmed the national economy. They said that while the agreement is much better than the initial proposals the rail industry put out, it does not include any paid sick days for the workers who have difficult and dangerous jobs and who have risked their lives during the pandemic to keep our economy moving. A separate proposal to add 7 paid days of sick leave for workers for the whole year passed the House but failed in the Senate. The Congress members said in a letter that guaranteeing the paid sick leave would cost the rail industry $321 million, which is less than 2% of annual profits. They said, quote, so that's $321 million, but get this, right? Less than 2% of their profits. If the rail industry can afford to spend $25 billion in stock buybacks and dividends to enrich their wealthy shareholders, they can afford to treat their workers with the respect and dignity that they deserve. So they don't want to spend $320 million for paid sick days, for a few sick days for their workers, but they will spend $25 billion for stock buybacks. Wow. The lawmakers argued that Biden should expand on an executive order from former President Obama that establishes paid sick leave for federal contractors, but not including rail workers. They also said Labor Secretary Marty Walsh has the authority to set mandatory occupational safety and health standards for businesses affecting interstate commerce under the Occupational Safety and Health Act. They added that Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg has a responsibility to promote safety in all areas of railroad operation, reduce industries and damages. So that's interesting that maybe it could be done through an executive order. Of course, Republicans would probably be mad or something. But let me know your thoughts here on that. Of course, the companies don't want to spend less than 2% of their profits to do this, but they'll spend $25 billion in stock buybacks. Oh, the hypocrisy. Let me know your thoughts here in the comments. This is what corporations do. Oh, we don't have money for that. It's just like, what do you do if you get sick? What do you do if your child gets sick and needs to stay home? What do you do? What do you do if you need to go to the doctor? Honestly, it's not just the rail industry. This is what people need to understand. This is for all jobs. This needs to be a discussion for all jobs. We're the only first world country in the world that doesn't guarantee as a nation paid sick days, paid sick leave. Okay, we're the only first world country, America, the United States, the land of the free, the greatest country in the world. We're the only country that doesn't guarantee it. So no matter where you work at Walmart, you work at a corporate job, you work at a desk job, you work for the rail industry, you work for a construction job, wherever it is, if your job specifically doesn't give you that, paid sick days, you're SOL. Yeah, it's ridiculous actually, especially during a pandemic. Me and my wife and our whole family, we went to Disneyland here, and like literally like on the last day we got sick, and which means we probably caught it like a day or two before, and at the parks because we were there for like a whole week or so, and my wife, she was in bed for like 7 days, because she got it the worst. She actually kind of for some reason, or I mean, she's got a kidney disease and stuff. But I mean, we actually are still kind of dealing with a little bit of, like, I still have a little bit of cough, and it's just kind of like lingering on. It's just kind of like lingering on. It's kind of weird. Now my parents actually did better than we did for some reason. Maybe they got less of a viral load from us. Um, and Laurel's parents got it as well because again, you could just spread it through breath. It's just literally you breathe on somebody and they get it, and y- so that's the thing. It's like everybody can get the virus and still be affected differently. But again, what do you do if your job doesn't give you any paid sick leave days? And remember that 60 to 64% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, so they can't afford to not be getting, to not go to work and not get any money. That means that what? They're not going to be able to buy food. They're not going to be able to pay their electric bill, their gas bill. Remember, we just covered a story that 20 million Americans, or I'm sorry, 20 million households are behind on their utility and gas and electric bills. That's 1 out of 6 households in America. So literally, when you drive down your street today or the next time you leave your house, every 6 houses, 1 out of 6 houses is behind on their utility, gas, or electric bills. They don't have the money to pay it. They're behind. That's how drastic the state of America is right now. Don't have the money to pay their utility bills, gas bills, electric bills, and corporations don't want to even give you a few sick days. A few sick days. I mean, like 7 days out of 365 days a year, not that much. Thinking about you need a days to go to the doctor. You may have kids. Kids get sick. Someone's got to stay home and watch them. Especially like if nowadays you got two working parents, and nowadays you probably need two working parents. I mean, the old days, the old like theory of the guy would go to work and the mom would stay home and watch the kids. Like that was a nice theory back in the day. But nowadays, with the cost of everything, you're seeing less and less and less of that. I mean, I get that that was the old, like the old style things, and there's still it still happens, but you got to have a really good job for that to happen nowadays, right? It's just the cost of everything is just outrageous. I mean, the average rent in America today is like $2,000, and in some places that's for a one-bedroom apartment. Of course, rent varies where you live. Um, but we had, one of our favorite viewers here, Diana, says her son in Florida pays, I think it was for a two-bedroom, pays $3,000 a month in Florida for an apartment, for just to rent it for two-bedroom. So it's just like, yikes. I mean, this is just for a two-bedroom apartment to rent this place. It's just like, unbelievable. Unbelievable. And it's like, let alone if you live in New York City, if you live in San Francisco, you live in like some places in Los Angeles or, things like that. Or a lot of these, in the more expensive areas, like maybe like Austin or Washington, D.C. It's just really, really expensive areas. Yeah, I mean, and you think about like places like New York City, um, millions and millions of people there. You pay thousands of dollars for a studio apartment. You don't even, you don't even get a bedroom. You live basically in a box. It's just unbelievable, unbelievable, and it's just like you can't even. You got to make $100,000 a year to even pay for your rent. Your rent is $100,000 a year. So yeah, and you see some of these studies, some of these headlines where it's like, yeah, I'm making $100,000 a year and I can't pay my bills. Some of the cost of living in some of these areas is outrageous. You're gonna make $200,000 a year in New York City just to get by. And remember that they don't even have cars in New York City. Most people, because one, there's no parking. If you want to get a parking spot, it's like $100,000 a year to rent one or to buy one, and it's just like, and then you got to pay for Ubers and stuff everywhere, and that's going to add up. It's just unbelievable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And meanwhile, things are gonna get worse here. Yeah, because this is on December 14th. The Federal Reserve has their next meeting, and they're going to raise rates again. They're going to raise rates again. The Federal Reserve says they're open to probably another 0.5 percentage point rate hike here. Now, it could be higher, could be lower, but they're meeting again here, the Federal Reserve, and on December 14th, well, what does this mean? This means Americans are going to be paying more money for credit card interest, more money for car loans. So anybody that goes to buy a new car, anybody that goes to buy a used car and goes to take out a loan, loans for those are going to be going up as well. Mortgages going to be going up again. Mortgages for homes, variable rate mortgages. If you have an adjustable rate mortgage and it comes due for an adjustment anytime here in the future, rates actually dipped here recently because the market kind of seen an adjustment here. It dropped about 0.5%, which was kind of shocking. I was kind of shocked here as well. So we were at a little bit over 7%, and then we dropped down to about 6.6%, which was kind of strange. Even I was kind of shocked there. But again, now, the reason for it is I think it's just because the banks on their own just kind of dropped their rates a little bit because I think that the demand is just abysmal. Nobody wants to buy homes. I've seen a lot of people. I seen a comment in the comment section. Somebody said, "I'd like to move from an apartment to a home," or no, it was a comment that said, "I'd like to move from my home to another home, but I'm locked in at like 2.87%, and I'd have to get a rate at almost 7%." Who would do that? Who would do that? It would literally, you'd be paying $1,000 more a month just in interest to literally just switch from one home to down the street or wherever you go. The costs are insane. The costs are literally insane. So a lot of people, just the demand for mortgage, nobody wants to move. Nobody wants to buy because it's adding 1,000. I mean, of course, it depends. It might be $700, $500, $1,500. Depends on the price of the home, but it's adding so much cost to the mortgage because of the interest rates. And now they're going to raise interest rates probably another 0.5%, and they're going to have more interest rate meetings next year. They have them literally like every month or two. They could raise interest rates multiple times next year as well. Yeah, and every time they do this, it basically raises interest rates everywhere across the board. Credit cards are variable interest rates, so they're not locked in interest rates or anything. You didn't sign a contract and say, "Hey, this is my interest rate locked in." So yeah, credit cards can basically change your rate every month if they wanted to. Good thing for you to do if you wanted to, if you care about this, which you should, is go look at your statement and see what your interest rate is if you have credit cards, if you have credit card debt, or even if you have a credit card and you pay it off every month, it'd be good to know this. Go look at your interest rate, your APR, annual percentage rate, which means that's the interest rate you pay every year if you have debt on it. And go look at a statement if you keep your statements. Hopefully you do, so it would be a good thing if you do. And go see what your interest rate was a year ago, 12 months ago, say December of last year or November of last year, and see how much it's gone up. See if it's gone up 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%. So, because that's a lot here. So remember that if you go up, so let's see here. If you go up, say you had a $10,000 balance and you went up 5%, that would be an extra $500 that you would pay per year just in interest every year. Every year, $500 per year in interest. Just the interest alone, you still owe the money to them. You still owe the principal to them. That's just simple math off the top of my head. Of course, it's compounded and stuff like that. It's interest on top of interest, and it kind of gets worse there. Just kind of an idea there. So remember, this is annual percentage rate interest. You owe them interest every year, or in this case, every month, because it's kind of annualized. And remember that credit card interest is really like the worst interest there is. Yeah, the only way really to get out of it is if you file bankruptcy or something like that. Then but the problem with that is that they'll go through your assets and stuff like that, and maybe sometimes they look at that and take your assets if they have it or something like that. But yeah, it's just really tough out there. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments, and I will keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country on a daily basis. If you're new to our channel, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new videos that come out here on a daily basis. Remember, new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in at those times every day so you can see our new videos. Click the bell icon after you click the subscribe button so you get notifications when we go live. And also thanks for liking and sharing these videos. You can click here to watch my newest video next. And here is a new video here about something the White House wants you to know about. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.